Are you voice actors? Are you voice performers? What's the word?
Are we?
What's your word? I don't want to say the wrong word and offend you.
We're actors. No, I say voice actor. If somebody asks me what I do, but I don't know. I feel like all that's changing now with so much motion capture. I don't know where that fits into it.
Right. Are you doing? Is motion capture becoming more and more part of every gig?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we say voice actors, I think, just so that we can cut down on the conversation time. You say actors, people are like, what have I seen you in? You're like, oh, wait a second.
Have you?
Yeah, you'll say what animated shows you've been in. You'll say what interactive projects you've been in. But motion capture is showing up in pretty much all of the AAA titles that are out.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that problematic for you guys at all?
Not really.
Change the work at all? Because it
definitely changes the work. Yeah. It creates more time in the development process with us. Like when we did Second Son, it was really one of the first times that we were involved so early on in the game. You know, as a voice actor, so much of the game is made, and then we come in and we're the cherry on top of all of the substance.
That's been worked on for months and months and months.
With motion capture, you come in so early because it takes so long to get all the input and everything that we get to really have more say in who the characters become and a little more influence in the story and everything like that, which is nice.
That more satisfying just as performers to be?
Sure. I mean, the creative process is such a such a precious thing. You get to go in and speak with the writing team, and they're asking your input, and maybe they're looking for some inspiration here or there. Maybe they use it, maybe they don't, but you just feel like you're more invested. It means more to you,
and you really get to know the studios, all the people that make it work. And, you know, when you're in a recording booth, very rarely do you get to meet all of the animators and everything behind it. And it's so nice to get to go to the studio and see everything that goes into it. And there's so much more than you would ever expect.
Yeah, it's always a great experience because we are as excited to see the QA department, the animators, the writers, the lighting specialists, all those people, and then they are equally excited to meet the people that they've been staring at for 6 months, probably cursing at sometimes while their families are at home wondering where they are. So
my ring got stuck on my chair, and I was like totally awkwardly like looking. I was handcuffed to the chair just then. This ring Matt and Marisha gave me, actually. You just trapped me.
It's a cursed
to the
ring.
chair.
Clearly, yeah.
What?
-5 to Dexter.
What was the first? Wrong show. That was earlier. Don't worry about it. What was the? How do you get into? I mean, you probably answered this question about 1,001 times, but like, how is it? Presumably now, once you're in here, you're finding gigs a lot easier because you're making those connections and you have this like palette of work that you've been working on. But it must be quite difficult to actually break in the first place. Right?
The very first gig you get, incredibly hard. But everybody finds it in a different way, you know. When we both started, we were in Texas, and Funimation was the very first place we ever worked, which was, anime. And my first gig was Dragon Ball Z. And I only found it. I only got the audition because I was in a play, and somebody there saw me, and they recommended me for the show, and so I got to go in and audition for Dragon Ball Z. But you can't just call up a studio. You can't just like see what's happening. So it's so hard just to hear the auditions are coming up and then be able to get your foot in the door there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, your entire life has been basically taken that way because of a chance encounter, essentially.
Yeah, and because of one play that I did. Yeah. Created this entire world of acting for me that I never even realized existed.
Yeah, did you have any visibility on it yourself? Was it something you always wanted to do, or like how does it come about? Like,
I didn't plan for it at all. I went to college to study theater and performance arts, and that was pretty much it. I didn't know if that was going to be film or TV. Maybe, those are like the big dreams. But I was still in Fort Worth, Texas at the time, and when Funimation came along, I was a fan of Dragon Ball Z for years before I even realized that she was in the show. So when I knew that she was a character, and I was like, I know what that character sounds like. That doesn't sound anything like Laura. How's that possible? And you listen again, and instantly that curiosity of like, how does she
Travis, Kid Trunks is so sexy. You want to marry me?
What are you doing? What are you doing? He's literally loading the cannon right now that will be fired for years and years. After realizing that this show that I was such a fan of was done so close, I hounded her and pretty much everybody else that I knew that worked there for months and years, and finally got an audition, didn't blow it, didn't suck. And it just kind of went out from there, but it never had any intention of like being a video game voice actor or an animation voice actor. And it was only after after I first considered like, oh, these animes are things that we can work in, being such a cartoon fan growing up, loving Thundercats, loving Silverhawks, loving Voltron. I was like, to me as kids, those characters lived by themselves. They weren't real people.
Yeah,
they weren't voiced by adults. I didn't want to know anything about them. I was like, wow, is that a possibility? Oh, okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know, like, I still, even in Dallas for the 8 years that I was a voice actor, I was doing a lot of other on camera. And I thought that's still the direction I was going to go. Voice acting was this fun thing I got to do on the
Paying
side.
the bills, kind of.
Yeah, but it still didn't pay that much, and it was just fun to do. And then after I moved out to California, the whole world opened up because there's just so much more, you know, available out here than there was back in Texas. And that's when I realized this side of things can actually be a career. That's crazy and awesome and freeing.
Now, the weird thing about the acting business, which I'm sure has been said before a million times, is there's no like set path. There's no ladder to climb. You know, people ask like, can I go get voice acting training somewhere? And sure. And, you know, does it help if I do theater or if I go take workshops? Yeah, it does, you know, but nothing's ever yes or no. It's just sometimes it's a complete accident. Sometimes it's kismet.
Sometimes people come at it from stand-up. Some people come from on-camera work. Some people come from a theater production.
Some people are athletes. Some people are comedians. Some people, I mean, it just, you know, it's just a different number of things. And we just normally tell people, like, if it's something that you really want to do and you think you have a talent in it, then just pursue it relentlessly. And whatever will happen, will happen.
As a lifestyle, is it something, I mean, you guys are a couple as well. So is it less demanding in some ways than on-camera work? Because it's a bit more like the projects, because I don't know anyone who works as an actor. I have friends who work in lighting and stuff in Hollywood, and the days seem to drag on forever. So you're constantly on call for like days and days.
That doesn't happen in voice acting, which is really nice. You usually have a set schedule,
right?
But
there's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Whereas like our days might be shorter, the use of your immediate visceral imagination is far higher, because if you're in motion capture, you're in a blank room with no set, certainly no effects, no makeup, no lighting. It is just your old school theater imagination, and hopefully that's matching up with what the performer in your space is also imagining.
Here, this block of styrofoam is now your gun.
No,
usually your weapons are actually, they look like weapons, but everything else is just a prop that doesn't. This is a hat. It's now a hat, and it's your hat.
Yeah, you quickly see who has the ability to really conform and warp their imaginations, and really has the ability to play.
And I mean, it's very expensive each minute of recording in a space like that, probably. So
it's incredibly
quite a lot of
expensive,
pressure for you guys in that respect as well, right? To be able to,
there is. If you're out of water and you're uncomfortable, it'll be very clear very quickly. But I think that old school theater training really helps in situations like that.
Yeah, I heard Matt saying that earlier. It's very true.
What do you enjoy about it the most?
About motion capture?
No, just about about performing, about voice acting, about the whole gig.
Oh, I just love that you can be anything that you can imagine. You know, when I was doing more on camera, you're stuck, and a lot of times you walk into the room and they've decided whether or not you're cast before you ever even say a word, because your hair is too dark, or your chest is too small, or your nose is too big, or whatever. And with voice acting, they don't see you most of the time. You record from home or from your studio and your agency or whatever, and they just listen to the sound. And you know that if you're getting a callback or if you're getting cast, it's because of your performance. It's because of what you did, which is really amazing.
And you own it wholly.
Yes.
Well.
I mean, we get to play every single day. When we're like some of the luckiest people, because it's just our imaginations, getting worked. If there's anybody that's like annoyed with work or complaining going to work, that they have no idea what they're talking about. We're working in some of the coolest universes, whether it's comics or game franchises or anything like that. I mean, these are things that we grew up loving as we were kids, and just to be able to be a part of that and have some sort of our influence, some sort of our take or opinion on a character or a storyline be implemented in something that's being produced, it's just crazy satisfying for nerds like us. Yeah.
And it's funny, I guess the sort of the last one I want to touch on is kind of what you were saying earlier, which is very interesting, which is that like I'm in the same situation where when I found out who like the voice of Bender was, and like realizing it's like the voice of Marcus Phoenix, it's like I don't really want to know that. Whereas like in movies there's this propensity to be attracted towards the performer and then watch the movie wholly because of them.
Right.
With your guys' work, it's almost like people don't want to know who you are.
Which is a fine line. It's a fine line that's being made now, because a lot of times things are starting to take likeness based on.
Right.
So, we're working on multiple projects that have actually taken our face and put it in the game. And then you're like, ugh, I mean, that's really cool. I love that I look like a superhero, you know, and I can shoot lasers out of my hands. But at the same time, that ambiguity is a really nice thing in voice acting. So how many roles do you take where they can see your face, and do you want to back away from it?
Right.
It's a hard decision.
Yeah, the voice actors that have that chameleon ability, the ability to have separate voices with separate personalities attached.
Right.
If you can't see their face, you wouldn't know. I mean, they're just blue chip type actors.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing.
Will we get to the point where the technology? Well, I guess we probably are there already, where you can basically be like Andy Serkis, right, and just like have be Godzilla and be Schmeagol and not. Are we kind of there already?
One of the greatest mocap actors out there right now is a guy named TJ Storm that works on a ton of video
games. Is that his
games.
real name?
That's his real name.
He's in
TJ Storm,
the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. It might even be like the Karate or Taekwondo
He's
Hall
so
of Fame.
cool,
But
and he's huge, and he's got these long braids, and he's just the coolest.
He's so zen, you know. He's just so centered. But he did the mocap.
He's like your
for
monk.
Godzilla.
He's a monk.
Great, yeah.
He did the mocap for Godzilla. He did the mocap for Colossus and Deadpool.
He was in Knack with us, and he played Knack. So
cool.
he played both.
Range.
He was giant Knack, but he was little Knack, and his body stance when he would change and become big Knack is just so amazing to see the change in body stance.
It's amazing. The art of movement.
That's right.
It's like Conor McGregor. Yeah, it's all happening.
Conor McGregor.
I should have been Conor McGregor on the D&D.
Oh, what opportunity missed!
That's the next one. You'll be a halfling.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you wouldn't like that.
No, you would not like that.
Sorry, Connor. I love you.
Don't kill me.
Travis, Laura, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, hey,
really
man. Thanks for
appreciate your
having
time today. Last note on this. What video games are you guys playing at the moment?
Oh, that we can tell you about?
Wait,
God.
that we're playing or that we're in?
Playing.
Oh, playing.
I know I can't find out what you're in.
I am still deep in Fallout World.
Oh, cool.
Although I'm not romancing Matt. Sorry, Matt. I don't keep any companions except for my dog.
Me neither.
Right?
You get that perk that makes you be able to carry 100 extra pounds. Great.
Yeah, I like being solo, man.
Loner.
Man, I am in the division now. Our free time is almost nil, so I just made it over to Manhattan, which is basically just like leaving the tutorial. So I haven't had a huge amount of time to hop in. But I hop in and turn my brain off. So I'm a GTA guy and a Call of Duty 3 or Black Ops 3, and
You playing GTA Online?
Oh yeah,
it's great, isn't it?
Yeah, like 79, just run in, cause havoc for 2 hours.
He's a troll.
Brilliant.
He's a horrible, horrible person when he plays.
Listen, if I've got a fighter jet and you're driving around town, just watch out. That's all I'm saying.
I love it. If there was ever a game for that, it was GTA 5
That's
Online.
it.